First Dibbs question of the day, sponsored by Trantolo and Trantolo. Law offices of Trantolo and Trantolo located in Hartford, Waterbury, Bridgeport, New Haven, and Torrington since 1938. Been fighting for you and other injured victims. You can call them at 844-999-9999. Running backs in the NFL got together on a big call. Yep.
It was a
Zoomer. And so the question is, do you think that phone call and them moving forward will change anything when it comes to salaries in the NFL?
I do. I do think it will make a difference. I think that we're about to reach a tipping point, and I don't think it's going to be the NFL owners that are going to be like, oh, okay, I'm so sorry that you guys are so upset. I don't think it's going to be fans that are going to storm the castle and demand anything. I think it's going to be the Players Association working with the CBA in a different kind of scale than what the rest of the positions are based upon. Just the wear and tear alone. Like if you want to throw out at Saquon and Jacobs that, listen, you guys break down. Okay, then why am I on the same scale as far as getting paid as the stupid kicker and punter? Like that should be totally different. So I think that it's not going to change now. It might not change next year. But I think that the conversation has started, and the Players Association, the defensive tackle, the quarterback, the kicker, and punter are probably going to side with the running back and be like, yeah, man, it's obvious that they need a different, not pay scale, but period of when they get paid, a different timing, different timeline for their contract deal.
I think the toughest part about it is they agreed to the CBA.
Yeah.
You agreed to the way you're paid, and now you want to change something. The only way you're going to do that is in the CBA, and the only way to do that is to get your brothers to strike with you, and that's how things changed in the NBA. That's how things changed in the MLB. So I know some of the guys that were on that call said, listen, it was all great. The conversation was great, but we don't think anything's going to change. And they know it. They're smart enough to realize that. But here's the thing. With the Giants situation with Saquon, they were close to a deal. I don't know about Josh Jacobs' situation. He's going to hold out with the Raiders.
That's a good point.
Saquon's going to hold out with the Giants. That's your option to try to get this negotiations going and get both sides to the table. I do agree that Saquon didn't help himself by making public statements. That's not a way to get your partner to the negotiating table by saying, well, yeah, I could F the team and I could F this organization. But, yeah, okay, well, that makes it sound like, you're not going to be reasonable in negotiations. So I think there's compromise here. But I really believe that, listen, there's also this attitude I'm sure the owners will take that, okay, well, then we'll just get other running backs that want to do your job. And if you don't want to take the money, the $14 million, $15, $16 a year, we'll pay it to somebody else, and people will gladly take it.
And that's why I don't think anything now or this year or next year will change, because it will take a Players Association versus collective bargaining agreement to get this done. But, like you're saying, the more that team up together, and really, like, we're talking two right now. We're talking Jacobs and Saquon. That's more than what it has
Pollard
been.
Signed his.
But even thinking of Ezekiel, who else was running with Ezekiel at the time? Nobody. Le'Veon Bell. Who was running with Le'Veon Bell at the time? Nobody. If these two guys, and it looks like they're going to hold out through preseason. Looks like they might even talk about holding out regular season games. Whatever they do, whatever. Next year, let's say it's 3 guys. Let's say it's 4. It's eventually going to strike a nerve with a Jerry Jones or an Arthur Blank or somebody with some actual clout in the 32 ownership group that's going to say, you know what? I'm sick and tired of these guys being stars for minicamp, too. Like, there's a reason a lot of people are Saquon Barkley fans that want to bring their 26 jersey to get signed at minicamp, and that's not going to happen. Preseason games are a tough sell as it is for ownership to their fans. So don't even get me started with week 1, week 2. And then if your ownership talks to the general manager, talks to the coach, man, I would love if these guys were in the facility today through the month before the season, week 1, week 2. If you want to win a Super Bowl, those little details, those little things matter. And now we're really starting to get the conversation going. Again, I think it takes numbers. Like you said, they got to stick together. They can't break. It's almost like a strike, but not, because they're in a different position.
They have to be unified, but they did this themselves. In 2020, they signed a 10-year deal. It runs through 2030. Most of these guys won't even be in the league by that time.
That's so true. And the just the difficult thing about this is, like, Baseball, you got pitchers and you got hitters. Basketball, I'd say you got big man and you got some point guards, but really you got all the same. Hockey, you got goalies and you got other players. Football, you are so spliced out. Quarterbacks are way different than left tackles. Left tackles are different than centers. Defensive ends are not D tackles. Punters aren't kickers. So, there's out of that collective bargaining agreement, there's all these different fractions with all these different opinions. And it was a highlighted thing at that time as far as what, the play of the running back is. But I think now so more than ever, especially with these crop of running backs and the ones that are soon to come, I think that will tip the scale one way or another, and I think it's going to go towards the running back.
Maybe the game goes back to more running. You don't know. The problem right now is it's more of a passing league, and so you guys are kind of taking a back seat to the wide receivers and the quarterbacks. But here's the thing. Our strike in 94 helped today's players.
Correct.
And it might take 10 years after you're done playing.
And you're not
realize
feeling
that.
the financial
That's right.
reward.
And so these guys, I'm certainly not. But these guys have to realize that.
Right.
And I think that's the coolest part about them getting together now. They're like, listen, even Derrick Henry's smart enough to know I'm going to be done in 7 years. But if I can help my brothers that haven't even gotten to high school yet, by the time they're in the NFL and things are better for the running back at that point, and even the other grunts. I mean, that's the whole thing. I mean, 10% are making 90% of the money in the NFL.
Right.
More linemen need better deals, like you said. More second and third level players need more guarantees in their contracts and things like that. But that's going to take time, and finally, they're stepping up and noticing that.
I was running through my head, what if all the running backs strike in the league? And like you said,
they'll get other ones,
or they'll just ask the receiver, or maybe even throw the kicker back there. They'll figure it out.
They will figure it out, but it's 7 more years on there. All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll talk all the injuries now in NFL camp besides the holdouts next.